Okay, I'm going to finish up on lecture 3. So we're going to talk about how the 3 different perspectives look at culture, which is functionalism, conflict theory, and symbolic interactionism. And we're going to be visiting these 3 theories kind of throughout the rest of the class. And functionalism, when it looks at culture, is going to look at the functions of culture, the ways that it benefits society, and that there are dysfunctions to culture, but that overall it helps society meet basic needs, and that it's a way to kind of pass on society from generation to generation, and to create harmony and allow us to interact and be interdependent. Functionalism doesn't really address kind of the inequality that's built into society. It has a more kind of idealistic view that you can work your way out of inequality, and that the focus is more on individual, you can work hard and kind of overcome some of these more difficult things. But the idea is that culture is beneficial. And so you can guess probably that conflict theory believes that culture is kind of the way we keep our boot on the necks of the poor and the disadvantaged. So through culture, we teach people how society works, and we kind of teach people this unfair system, and we teach them that it's fair. And since our lives are based around the struggle over scarce resources, we teach people, the people in power kind of control the culture, and through the culture they teach people that it's appropriate for them to be in power, and they're able to maintain their power. So for example, when we talk about deviance, we tend to look at like someone breaking into a car as very deviant, but we look at white collar crime where billions of dollars are stolen each year. We don't tend to see that as being as deviant. Or like we talked about in the I can't remember his name now, the Stanford prison rapist, that when someone from upper middle class, educated, white, clean cut, jock, these are the people kind of towards the power end of the continuum, do something wrong, it's not considered as bad as when someone at the lower end of the continuum does something wrong. So the other thing that culture does is that through popular culture, we're taught to be consumers, and we're taught to meet our needs through consumption, and which benefits the owners of the means of production, because they benefit from our buying of all these things that we don't need. We are trained from a very young age, and we get hits of dopamine when we buy things, excuse me, which makes sense evolutionarily, that we would get a reward when we get new things. But now we have this consumer capitalist culture that wants us to buy. And with my daughter, when she was younger, and we would take her to Target, I knew that when you're shopping, the hit of dopamine comes when you put the item in your cart. And so for my daughter, when we would go to Target, I would let her put things in the cart, and then my husband would go around and just put the things back behind us. And she never once asked for a thing that she'd put in the cart. Never, because she'd gotten the dopamine, right? She'd already gotten the hit that she needed. And I knew enough about consumerism in the brain to know that I didn't have to get into an argument about it. I just said, sure. Now, I didn't say yes about everything, because I didn't want her to teach her she could have everything. But if I did say yes, I didn't have to actually buy it. And now that she's a little older, I do it a little differently, and she's able to go on Amazon. And so one activity that she really likes is to put things in the shopping cart on Amazon. So she'll just sit, you can see this is my cart at Amazon. She'll just sit and put toys in the shopping cart, and then I move them down here. And you know, like, I don't know, once every couple months I'll actually buy something from the shopping cart. But you know, she'll sit for a long time. Sometimes I'll come and sit down at my shopping cart and it has like $3,000 worth of stuff in it that she's put into it. And you know, sometimes her friends will come over and they'll put things in the cart because I know that this is the dopamine. So she gets the dopamine, so she's happy, and I don't spend any money, and my house isn't full of a billion toys. And another thing that I do is I will let her take photographs of toys that she wants. So if we go to Walgreens and she sees something that she really wants, then she'll ask for my phone, she'll take a picture of it, and so she has a record. So it's like she's captured it, and somehow that's enough. And the other thing that I've done is that, you know, we don't have television. We do have a television, but we don't have cable. We have Netflix and Hulu, and so my daughter has seen very few commercials. So she doesn't have that kind of drive that you would get from growing up with television commercials. So through that, the lack of commercials that she's seen, you know, just the lack of like product placement, the, you know, all that other stuff that she just doesn't really even know about. And through getting her the dopamine without actually getting the products, then I'm kind of subverting that paradigm. And I should just say, no, you can't get anything, but, you know, so she actually finds the consumption itself, you know, the actual making the decision to buy something is the reward. And so she gets to do that when, and even her friends do, which I don't know why, I just find that really funny to have these kids sitting, you know, these 8, 9-year-olds sitting and putting things, shopping on Amazon and putting things in the cart. And thank God she's never figured out one click. So symbolic interactionists, when they look at culture, they look at how we kind of do culture on a day-to-day basis, and how symbolism and other things that we do we create culture through our day-to-day interactions. So like right now, we're creating college credit. College credit does not exist. It's not a thing that you can touch. But we all come together and create it. And then like I'm getting a paycheck, and it's not something that I ever touch. It's just a change in a number in a computer at USAA where I have my checking account. But we all agree that it has meaning. So money, for example, is like this. So money is paper. It's not just paper though, it's a special kind of paper. When I was working in New York, I found out that death certificates, you know, like money, are printed on a special kind of paper, and you can't just go to Office Depot and get it. It has to be, you know, requisitioned from the secret castle where they make this paper. But anyways, but we add value to it, and we've agreed that we're going to use it symbolically. So we can see symbolism if we look at, there's a website called The Rich Kids of Instagram, where kids who are in, like, these are kids in the 1%. These are kids really wealthy, super wealthy kids. And they submit photographs to this website called The Rich Kids of Instagram. Hold on, I'm going to go check and make sure I'm still recording. My internet's been flaky, and I don't want to not be online. And they go and submit things online, submit photographs of their fabulous world. And a lot of these things are symbolic, right? So often you can look at the pictures and tell that the person is wealthy just by looking at what they're wearing, right? Looking at how they dress, not just what they have on, but how they're dressed. You know, people who are wealthy have a particular look, and this is done through symbols. So here you have, wow, this car. Wow. Your pink and black Bugatti, which I would have loved that. Those were my two favorite colors when I was in high school, which is about how old she looks. So one thing you see about wealthy people is that they're always thin. They have good skin, nice hair, they're clean, their clothes are not torn and tattered, right? There's a lot of consumption, right? So they're buying a lot, wow, buying a lot of expensive things. So here I am in my ocean of Louis Vuitton. Here I am on my yacht. This is my private plane, right? So these are all symbols of wealth. And they post them on this site. So there's another site called The People of Walmart, and The People of Walmart has a whole other tone. And The People of Walmart, the people who are in these photographs do not submit these photographs. These photographs are taken surreptitiously and submitted by other people who are making fun of these people. And what you see at the People of Walmart is you see another set of symbolism where you're at the other end of the economic continuum. And you tend to see people who are poor are the people who tend to violate social norms in terms of clothing, right? So you're walking around in a bunny suit with a skeleton shirt. Probably not going to see that at Target. So, you know, people, excuse me, with, you know, your thong is showing, and, you know, people are making fun of this person's really long hair. So I always think of this site as being kind of parallel to the rich kids of Instagram, except that it's looking at people violating social norms at Walmart. And one thing that you see that I always find really interesting is a lot of men violating social norms by dressing, they're not dressing as women, but they wear something that's typically associated with women. So they're not like dressing, they're not totally dressing as a woman, but they're like this guy who's got this big beard and is, you know, but then is wearing clothes like this, and they tend to be older. So here's someone who wore her makeup mask or whatever you call it to the store. And then if you look at her hair is kind of stringy and it's partially dyed, like there's roots, here it's black and here it's brown. Again, these are not things that you see in the wealthy photographs. And so it's something to think about is why is it that people who are, now not all people in poverty, so here's a car covered in bird crap, not all people in poverty violate social norms, right? That's, you know, most people who live in poverty don't violate social norms about how to, but why is it that that's where we tend to see it more? So this woman has white power on her legs, which is just totally awesome. So again, it's something to think about. And I, you know, when I show people of Walmart in class, people tend to laugh, and I don't know, I always find it kind of bleak because of the fact that people have taken photographs of people who are not fitting in with mainstream culture and making fun of them, and they're typically people who clearly look like they're on the lower socioeconomic scale, and, you know, may or may not have the money to dress in a particular way, or you can think of what other reasons might people be violating social norms about clothing out in public at Walmart as opposed to at Macy's. Why don't we see it there? So the last link on this lecture is a video excuse me, by another professor that describes the 3 theoretical perspectives. It's from Rice University, and I'm sorry, it's not a video. It's a to read, and it has some questions at the end you can answer. So if you're still just kind of struggling with the 3 theories, here's another take on the theoretical perspectives and culture. If you want to read it and answer the questions, it's not required, but it's there if you want it. So, all right, that's the end of lecture 3. So our next thing coming up is going to be the exam. The exam will be multiple choice questions that you'll take in Blackboard. You will not take it at the testing center. You'll take it at home or wherever you do your work. It'll be 50 multiple choice questions. You'll have an hour to answer them. They will cover lectures 1 through 3, which includes any films in the lecture, or like one of the lectures had the 2 articles that you were supposed to read, the 2 journal articles. And so you'll only take it once, unlike the quizzes. And that'll be all we'll do for those few days. Okay? I'll see you there. Bye.